This is part 2 of my series on planes, trains, and automobiles and how it is identical to the movie Jacob's Ladder. In the previous video, I explained the moment of Neil's death. Del appeared in Neil's story when he tripped over Del's trunk, which was placed in his path. Neil fell into oncoming traffic and died. This put Neil in a time loop because, unaware of his own death, Neil continued to relive this moment again and again and again and again and again. And this movie is the story of how he exited the time loop with Del's help. And in this video, I'll explore who Del is and how he is the same character doing the same role as the chiropractor in Jacob's Ladder for Jacob Singer. In Jacob's Ladder, Jacob died in the war. He was stabbed in the solar plexus. It is made clear at the end of the film that Jacob died. So the entire film is the story of Jacob solving his own death. Jacob's journey escalates into a terrifying descent to near madness as he believes everyone is either in on a conspiracy by the government to cover up what happened to him in the war, or is a covert demon out to kill him. Even Santa robs him while he's literally lying broken in a gutter. Jacob is stripped of his identity, told he was never in the war, and that his other life was a dream. His body is wrecked, his relationship with Jezebel hangs by a thread, and he might be losing his mind. Louie first appears to Jacob shortly after he's in the in-between world with Jezzy. At the post office, Jacob says he wants to go home, and he says his back hurts. Then it immediately cuts to Jake on the table with Louie. Louie only talks about Sarah and says he thinks that she still loves him. This is because Louie's role is to remind Jacob of true love, his inner gold, which is Sarah, home, the divine feminine. As Louie adjusts his neck, Jacob's consciousness snaps back to Vietnam, the moment he's rescued. That cut is not coincidence. It marks the first intervention. It shows the first step in Louie rescuing Jacob from his fear of death to help guide him home. I want to point out, Jacob was in the war and then suddenly found himself on the subway train asleep. He woke up as if he didn't know where he was. The way out is locked because he can't rise until he's gone through the ascension process. He's making his way through the underworld. On the train, there are several signs showing that he is in hell. Hell is being trapped in time, just like Neil, who also had posters surrounding him showing where he was. Time. The reason hell is being trapped in time is because time means being dominated by the physical, as in believing that it's real. Let's break down the symbolism behind the word time. T represents the cross. This is what we saw in the boardroom in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. The coffin is the cross, the tree, the cube. The cube is cubed consciousness, or 3D, the 3D box. So you must think outside the box, like Jack in the Box, the Cairo. I represents consciousness, or the observer, or the self. The self is trapped in the box or hung on the cross. M is magnetism, the feminine. E is electricity, the masculine, the two polarities in this dualistic world. So you are hung on the cross as the observer, believing the physical or the magnetism and electricity of duality and polarity is real. Until you get outside of the box, you are trapped in time. Del O. Griffith in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles wasn't just an odd little travel buddy who happened to co-opt Neil Page's journey home to his family on Thanksgiving weekend. Del's character is Neil's shadow self or higher self. The two are inseparable because Del O. Griffith is D-O-G, the psychopomp. He is here to help guide Neil to heaven, take him home. Written on the trunk is Del O. Griffith, D-O-G. Dog is God inverted. A dog is man's best friend, his shadow. Anubis is the ancient Egyptian god of funerary rites, embalming, and the protector of graves and the dead. Usually depicted as a man with a canine head or as a jackal, Anubis guided souls to the afterlife, presided over the mummification process, and was central to the judgment of the dead by weighing the heart. the dog. Del means heart. The O represents no thing or God, source, love. Griffith means strong grip or lord. Neil means to temper by heat. Page means youth, lad, boy of the lower orders, personal servant, youth preparing to be a knight. It also means to summon, as in to summon the dead, or call by name, as in I am. So Neil Page is basically the follower, the man with the potential to rise. He is learning to remember who he is. He's a puppet. He's dead. He's rigid, obsessed with time and control. His ego fire needs to be tempered. Del represents the heart or Christos energy, playful, guiding, and full of grace, nudging Neil to awaken and step outside of his patterns. Once the two unite, they can return to Neil's wife, who symbolizes the Kundalini divine feminine energy, who is waiting at home, the heart in the head, the thalamus or bedchamber inside the fornix, the reunion with God that completes the journey. The three characters represent the path of transformation from ego to awakening. Planes, trains, and automobiles represents planes, the earthly plane, the umbilical cord or silver serpent connecting us between worlds. Automobiles, the Merkaba. Jacob's ladder represents the middle pillar path we must take to ascend out of this dualistic reality. Ladder bridges the gap between the twin pillars of duality, guiding the soul to integration and awakening. Jacob means supplanter or the follower. Just like Neil, he follows his guide, Louie. It represents the part of us that is asleep or trapped in the false self, the ego pretending to be the true self. Like a jack-in-the-box or a Jesus figure, he carries the potential to rise and awaken, but only by confronting death, fear, and attachment. Louie, the chiropractor, means the loot bringer. He brings you to your inner gold, your authenticity. He is a chiropractor because he is healing the 33 vertebrae of the spine. The spine is literally Jacob's ladder because the spine is the central tower, the one we saw at the beginning of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So Louie again represents the heart, leading Jacob to the Kundalini energy home where he is reunited with his son, Gabe, his inner child. Up to this point, I've shown how these three characters represent different aspects of the awakening journey. Now I'm going to show you what that actually looks like in motion. In the next two clips, you'll see exactly why Del and Louie represent the trunk monkey, the part of us that doesn't play nice with illusion, doesn't bow to false authority, and steps in to do what the ego simply cannot.
Your hat is fabulous.
Ma'am?
How about if we don't give us a ticket today and just a warning?
License and registration.
Okay.
This your monkey?
The Trunk Monkey, a revolutionary idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group.
Kentucky, keep on shining. Oh, great. Pop, watch it. How fast are you going?
I can't tell. The speedometer's melting.
Pull over.
Top of the morning, officer.
Aye.
Is there something I can help you with?
What the hell are you driving here?
We had a small fire last night, but we caught it in the nick of time.
You have any idea how fast you were going?
Funnily enough, I was just talking to my friend about that. Our speedometer's melted, and as a result, it's very hard to say with any degree of accuracy exactly how fast we were going.
78 miles an hour.
78, huh? Well, yeah, I could buy that, sure, I guess. You would know better than us, especially since we got a melted speedometer.
Do you feel this vehicle is safe for highway travel?
Yes, I do. Yes, I really do. I believe that. I know it's not pretty to look at, but it'll get you where you want to go.
Now, you got no outside mirror.
No, we lost that.
You have no functioning gauges.
No, not a one. However, the radio still works. Funny as that may seem, with all this mess, that the radio's the only thing that's really working good, and it's as clear as a bell. Don't ask me how.
I can't let you go ahead in this vehicle.
Can't what?
No. It's not fit for the road. The vehicle will be impounded until such time as it can be made safe for travel on state highways.
Okay, officer, I admit it. I broke the law, and for that I'm really sorry. I am. It'll never happen again. You got me there, and I won't argue with you one iota, I swear. However, if you impound our car, I'm gonna be unable to get my friend here home in time for his Thanksgiving dinner.
Trunk Monkey was a series of commercials that ran in 2000 for Suburban Auto Group. The fictional service provided drivers with a monkey in the trunk of your car that would act out your animal instincts, behaviors that might help you get out of trouble when the monkey does it, but if you did it, you'd probably land in hot water with perceived authority. Trunk monkeys are outside of the law and are not approved by authority. This is your shadow self, the part of you that you suppress because society does not allow it. But this is how you access your authentic self. It is the key to your higher self and what will set you free. These clips just happen to mirror one another, and I'm showing you how similar they are to illustrate how Del embodies the energy of the trunk monkey. While Neil stays silent, Del simply tells the truth to perceived authority. He doesn't get upset, and he doesn't mind the end result. Neil allows Del to handle the situation because he trusts that aspect of himself to take care of what he could not. And while the car did get taken off the road, it is likely, given how Neil handled the woman at the car rental place, that both of them might have ended up in jail if Neil had handled it. So even though the outcome wasn't what they wanted, it was still probably better. The next two clips are going to show a comparison between Jacob's Ladder and the Trunk Monkey commercial to show how Louie is the Trunk Monkey.
The Trunk Monkey Theft Retrieval System. Because sometimes getting your car back is simply not enough. Another revolutionary idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group, pending approval by Department of Agriculture.
Jacob? Jacob Singer! Shh! Jacob!
Sir, you're gonna have to keep your voice down.
Where's Jacob Singer? Louie, I'm in here! Jake! Where are you, Jake?
Sir, can I help you, sir?
Jacob! Good God, Jake, what have they done?
Sir, can I help you, sir?
Go in there.
What is this? The Middle Ages?
Don't touch him.
Can they call this modern medicine? This is barbaric. Barbaric!
All right, just calm down.
Why don't you just burn him at the stake and put him out of his misery?
Sir, you're gonna have to leave.
Stay back! Don't come near me. You understand? What is this, my jail? Stay back! Take one step and I'll wrap this around your neck. Come on.
All right, calm down.
Back! Back!
Calm down.
You can't do that.
All right, make sure. No, sir, you can't do this.
Out of the way! I'm upset. I'm really upset.
Crazy man.
They'll nail him at the door downstairs.
Watch your toes, Jacob.
Once again, these two clips mirror one another well, but the point I'm making is that Louis embodies the Trunk Monkey spirit. He does for Jacob what Jacob cannot do for himself. Louis appears at the hospital, storms through without adhering to perceived authority, defends Jacob against potential attackers, and removes him from that torture chamber. The Trunk Monkey acts from pure desire, without regard for perceived authority or rules, because those rules simply do not apply when you are the living being, not the dead entity, the ego, or the character. When you act outside the rules accepted by perceived authority, you disrupt the program. You tap into your true self because you're being authentic. But we hide our authenticity in the trunk. This is why Del is lugging around this trunk. Neil has buried his true self, locked it away, and rejected it. Del is here to remind him of who he really is. This is why at the end of the film, both Del and Neil are carrying the trunk. They share the load equally. Neil has accepted his other half, the rejected, playful, chaotic, childish, mischievous, adventurous, and carefree self. But how did Neil get there? After Neil picks himself up off the Manhattan rush hour street, he sees a taxi and bargains for it. Just as he's about to get in, Del takes the taxi from under his nose. As Del races off in the taxi, Neil runs after him, but then he surrenders and takes a bus to the airport. And then his flight is delayed. Neil finds himself sitting opposite Del, and he informs Del, "You stole my taxi." The two clearly do not get along, and Neil wants nothing to do with Del. However, Del persists. It appears that Del has no idea what he's talking about regarding the taxi, but on a metaphysical level, he did it deliberately. Del is not here to annoy Neil or to derail his efforts in getting home. Del is there to disrupt Neil's pattern so he wakes up to the truth of who he is, sheds all attachments that he has to time, his identity, his story, and the physical world. Neil has been stuck in a time loop because he forgot who he is, which is what the death at the opening of the film represents. Things reach a climax when the two seem to finally be bonding as they drive off together, only to be told that they're going the wrong way by a passing car in the other lane. Neil spots two oncoming tractor trailers, and Del, noticing too late, drives between them. Del literally turns into the devil, terrifying Neil. The hospital scene from Jacob's Ladder is similar to this one. Louie, the chiropractor, literally and metaphysically sets Jacob straight by adjusting his back, the 33 vertebrae of the spine, and tells him, if you're frightened of dying and you're holding on, you'll see devils tearing your life away. But if you've made your peace, then the devils are really angels freeing you from the earth. Once you see that the evil in this world is simply a perception and that all stems from love and is wanting to help you find your way home, you are leaving the twin pillars of duality. This is what was being shown the moment when Del drove between two trucks and turns into the devil. Neil perceived Del as evil because he's reckless and going the wrong way, meaning he's going against the grain of life. He dares to challenge authority, society's rules, and to live on his own terms. To someone as rigid as Neil, this is dangerous and evil because it challenges his own rules and how he has chosen to live his life. The twin pillars are the two trucks, and Del driving between them represents merging the opposites. The chiropractor aligned Jacob's spine, which is the same thing, setting Jacob on the middle path, just like Del took the middle path between the two trucks. What these two scenes show is that the wrong way isn't a direction, it's simply the rejection of convention. When you start going your own way, the middle pillar path, you meet resistance from a system that only recognizes its own rules. To others, you're going the wrong way, but to Del and Lewis, who refuse to obey convention, they are carving their own way. This is what happens when you lose the fear of death. Death of the ego, the body, and the identity, because all fear stems from the fear of death. As Lewis said, when we're no longer afraid of death, we stop seeing problems as demons and start seeing them as angels helping us leave Earth, the 3D, time. When we merge the opposites and see that the good and the bad both come from the same source, duality dissolves. This will all become clearer with each subsequent video, and the next video I would like to explain a little bit more on the 3 parallel universes in each film.